Thank you. Yes, the title of the lecture I delivered today, which was a brief lecture, was 25 years after the Treaty of Maastricht, Legitimacies at War. And the bulk of the lecture was to think a bit about the crisis of legitimacy that the European Union and some of the European member states are facing in the context of the legacy of Maastricht. And one of the key questions that I addressed in this lecture was the question of legitimacy and the fact that legitimacy, both at the European level and perhaps in certain countries at the national level, is encountering difficulties. So what is legitimacy, to put it simply, is the right to govern. And the right to govern is essentially based on two things. First of all, core principles, core values with which people identify and which serves as benchmarks of legitimate government, and precisely the ability of governments to deliver policies, results on the basis of these core principles and core values. And it seems that today, both at the European Union level and in the context of a number of member states, there are divisions when it comes, or there is discontent when it comes to what are the core values, what are the core principles with which people could and should identify. And also there are also problems with the ability of governments and the European Union to deliver in terms of results. And we saw this in the context of what is called now famously or infamously the Brexit. That is to say, the fact that in the spring of 2016 the people in the UK decided that maybe they should be better off, they would be better off outside the European Union. So how to interpret Brexit? Brexit is clearly the sign of a discontent of people in the UK, although it was Brexit was decided, but with a very, very small margin. It was essentially 51-49. So in any case, it is the sign of a discontent vis-à-vis the European Union elite, but also vis-à-vis the British elite. So there is here a crisis of representation at the European level and at the national level in the UK. There was also, I think we have to interpret this as an indication of a sense of discontent vis-à-vis the policies which have been followed in Europe but in the UK, which are leaving a lot of people feeling left out. So this is also a problem, thirdly, of social and economic integration for quite a number of people in the UK. So this is how we can interpret Brexit. Of course, we will have to see how it unfolds, because it seems that the mood in the UK is changing a bit, and now people are realizing that maybe leaving the European Union is not, it's not going to be an easy proposition for sure, and maybe it's not such a good thing. So beyond Brexit and the internal situation in the European Union, clearly the European Union is also a major global actor, and therefore has to position itself in connection with its geopolitical environment. So we have to think about how does the European Union positions itself vis-à-vis China, Russia, Central Asia, India. When it comes to China and the European Union, I think that the relationship is one of competition and cooperation. In the end, I tend to think that it's more one of competition and one of economic competition. When it comes to Russia, neighbor, when it comes to the European Union, it's more a matter of geopolitical tension, of course because of Ukraine, but also because of the need to find a new type of relationship between Russia and the European Union. I don't think that we have found yet a kind of modus vivendi when it comes to the relationship between Russia and the European Union since, in fact, the expansion of Europe and the expansion of NATO. Things are still unsettled, and we have to find a path. When it comes to Central Asia and India, I'm less sure about what would be. Clearly these are I don't think that the level of relationship between European Union and India is very intense. So I don't think that it is as strategic as the relationship between the European Union and China, and the relationship between the European Union and Russia, and same thing for Central Asia. So basically this is where we stand internally, where we're encountering problems. But here I think it's also important to think about the fact that these problems, these challenges should not lead us to overlook the successes of the European Union. We have to think about these problems, we have to address them. It is absolutely imperative to do so, and in a way it is all the more imperative to do so because despite the fact that the European Union is encountering a lot of problems, it is here to stay. So if we don't want to continue with the European Union, which is half alive, half dead, since it is going to continue anyway, we really have to be serious about addressing these problems internally and externally. I think that we have to find once again a good balance between cooperation and competition with our neighbors and beyond. I think by essence, by nature, the European Union is about cooperation internally and externally, but it shouldn't also be naive. Competition is a key feature of international politics, and therefore I think what is key for the future for the European Union and for the world in general is to find the right balance between cooperation and competition, and this is true externally, but I think this is also true internally. Thank you.